Alright, so today I'm going to compare the built-in filters / film tone presets of these cameras to see which camera produces better results out of camera, in case if you don't want to use the log profile basically and then waste your time color grading in post-production. On the Pocket 4P there are 6 presets in total, and then you can adjust the intensity level of each preset by 4 intensity levels, so 30%, 50%, 70% and 100%. And then on the Luna Ultra you have 9 presets in total, but you can only adjust the intensity level of 6 of them with 3 intensity level adjustments: low, medium and high. And just to keep this comparison as fair as possible, I'm gonna use only 50% on the Pocket 4P and then only medium on the Luna Ultra. And honestly, from my experience with DJI cameras, using like 70% intensity and then 100% is just way too strong. Right, so just to get like a baseline, it is how the standard picture profiles look on these cameras. Of course, also, I'm not really going to do anything in post-production when it comes to color grading. What you're going to see throughout this video is basically what you get after importing the footage to your computer. And another thing I want to mention is that I started today with 100% battery with both of these cameras, and by the end of the day, let's see which camera has the battery more depleted, if you will. Alright, and now I switch to the 3x camera on these cameras just to see whose camera looks better basically. And another thing I want to mention is that I'm trying like a new microphone placement for my wireless microphone to see if I'm gonna get better audio quality. I basically put the microphone right here underneath the head, and I have the magnetic clip in here to see if it's gonna give better audio quality, because usually when I put the microphone here on my chest basically, sometimes when I move my head like so, the audio quality changes dramatically, which is something that I don't really like. So I'm gonna look on the computer, how it looks also, if it doesn't look too dorky, and at the same time if the audio quality improves or not. Here's like a somewhat of a close-up for you guys. I mean, the DJI just frames me much better, like proper framing with the DJI camera, whereas with the Luna Ultra my face is so low. I like the framing much more on the DJI, and also the depth of field, the blur in the background is way more intense on the DJI camera. Alright, and now I switched to the CC preset on the Pocket 4P and then the Leica Natural preset on the Luna Ultra. And all the Leica presets on the Luna Ultra are not adjustable. You cannot adjust really the intensity basically. So it's set to 100% compared to like 50% on the Pocket 4P. And the reason I chose the CC preset on the Pocket 4P is because it looked, the closest basically to the Leica Natural profile, just to keep it as fair as possible again. And a couple of things that I can see on the screen is that the Pocket 4P is a bit more contrasty and also a bit more moody overall. Like if you look at the greens in here behind me, they look more like blue than green compared to like really green on the Luna Ultra. And also there's just more contrast overall. It looks a bit more moody, and maybe there's also a bit of like teal or blue in the shadows. And here you can see the difference like perfectly, how much more saturated are the greens in here on the Luna Ultra compared to the Pocket 4P. Alright, now can you switch to the 3x camera on these cameras while recording at the same time? Let's see, I haven't tried this. Works on the Pocket 4P and works on the Luna Ultra as well. Let me go back a little bit. I'm still using the same film presets basically. And for some reason the Luna Ultra glitches a little bit with the tracking. It's a bit more like intense, if you will. Let's do like a full body shot, more or less. I feel like the DJI is framing me a bit better than the Luna Ultra. Like if I come close to the camera, you see how the DJI puts me like in a nice composition, whereas the Luna Ultra puts me like on the lower part of the frame, which doesn't look as nice, I guess. Alright, and now I switched to the Pastel preset on the Pocket 4P, which is one of my favorite presets on DJI action / pocket cameras. and I'm using the Leica Vivid on the Luna Ultra. Now, in my opinion, these picture profiles look pretty different. Like, for example, you can see how the greens behind me look way more saturated on the Luna Ultra compared to the Pocket 4P, and also skin tones look a bit different. Also, I feel like I have more teal and blue in the shadows with the Pocket 4P, and at the same time a bit more contrast on the Pocket 4P. It looks somewhat similar to the CC profile, but there's a bit more like a magenta color, like tint going on with the image, if you will. So let's see which one you like more overall. Let's backlight myself more or less. As you can see, like the greens with these presets look totally different. Also, like the skin tones, I feel like it's more like faded and desaturated on the Luna Ultra compared to like more saturation, and also it's a bit more reddish magenta on the Pocket 4P. Alright, and now I switched to the 3x cameras with these picture profiles, and man, they look so different. Like, I mean, the saturation in the background is so much more intense with the Luna Ultra, but maybe that's something you will like more. I'm not really sure. Let's move back also, maybe like test the tracking performance of these cameras. Both of them follow me relatively well in this open space. Alright, and now I switched to the NC profile on the Pocket 4P and Leica Chrome on the Luna Ultra. And again, it looks like the image on the Pocket 4P is a bit more moody than what I get from the Luna Ultra. Like, look at these colors in the background. Everything looks more like blue, teal, more moody, whereas everything on the Luna Ultra looks a bit more like vibrant, more saturated and more natural overall. If I would like look at the grass color with my eyes, it looks more similar with the Luna Ultra than it is with the Pocket 4P. Then I switched to the 3x cameras. Whew, getting too fat. Let's see like closer performance. Honestly, they look pretty similar, but there's definitely more background blur going on with the Pocket 4P. Let's do like a half body shot, if you will. Something like so. Alright, so right now I'm using the movie preset on the Pocket 4P and cinematic preset on the Luna Ultra. They should look very similar. I mean, movie and cinematic is almost the same. They do look somewhat similar, but I guess the Luna Ultra is a bit more saturated, and also there's a bit of a warmer like tint going on with the Pocket 4P compared to like a slightly colder tint on the Luna Ultra. I feel like the Luna Ultra adjusts the exposure a bit quicker than the Pocket 4P when going from like a bright environment to a slightly darker environment. As you can see, the image looks a bit darker now on the Luna Ultra, and now it looks the same on the Pocket 4P. Right, now let's do our test with the 3x lenses. I feel like you definitely get more background blur with the Pocket 4P, and also the framing overall when using the tracking looks more pleasing with the Pocket 4P than on the Luna Ultra. And this jitteriness also with like the movement, as you can see with the Luna Ultra, it moves the camera in a very aggressive way compared to the Pocket 4P, which looks a bit smoother. Let's go back a little bit. Alright, so now I switched to the CC profiles of these cameras. Not really sure what CC means. I guess classic Chrome if I had to guess. But the names are the same, so I guess the footage should look very similar at the same time. And by the way, a bit of a battery update, 71% on the Pocket 4P and 77% on the Luna Ultra. Maybe the Luna Ultra is a bit more saturated and warmer, but it's very similar. Right, and now I switched to the 3x lenses. Let's see how they compare. Let's come a bit closer. It's definitely more faded on the Pocket 4P. I like the contrast of the Luna Ultra here, but I like the framing more of the Pocket 4P and the background blur. Vlogging with like 60-70 millimeters. kind of like a stabilization test for you with the tele lenses. Right, and now here is NC, film tone comparison. I'm not really sure what NC stands for. I guess negative chrome, but let's see how different they look. Alright, and now here is a comparison with the 3x lenses. Alright, and now I switched to the Pastel preset on the Pocket 4P and Fresh preset on the Luna Ultra. And honestly, from looking at the screens, I don't really like how the Fresh preset looks like on the Luna Ultra. Again, one of my favorite presets on DJI cameras is Pastel. I think it looks fantastic in pretty much all conditions, but especially in like cloudy conditions. I feel like the image on the Luna Ultra is a bit too desaturated, especially like skin tones. But maybe that's something you will like, I'm not really sure. Alright, let's do like a 3x camera lens test. I feel like the image on the Pocket 4P with Pastel looks a bit more pleasing, honestly. Let's go back a little bit. Do some mini tracking test again for the 1000th time. Try to confuse the cameras. Pretty good at like tracking in open space. Alright, and now I switched to retro on the Pocket 4P and positive film on the Luna Ultra. It's definitely a bit warmer on the Pocket 4P, but a bit more contrasty on the Luna Ultra. And honestly, it looks really good on the Luna Ultra. I'm not really a big fan of the retro preset on DJI cameras. It looks way too intense. Not my cup of tea, if you will. This preset, honestly, might be one of my favorites now. It looks really good on the Luna Ultra. Saturation is good, contrast is good, colors are pretty good. Alright, now here is how the 3x cameras look like with these presets. Alright, so now these are the two last presets on these cameras. So warm tone on the Pocket 4P and then negative film on the Luna Ultra. They do look, you know, pretty different to each other, honestly, but it's very hard to compare the presets of these cameras because they're named slightly differently, and also, of course, these are totally different cameras at the same time. Honestly, in this case, I like the image more from the Pocket 4P. It looks a bit more pleasing. The image on the Luna Ultra looks way too pinkish and like desaturated at the same time. At least in this environment, I feel like the Pocket 4P looks a bit more, you know, natural and pleasing at the same time. Alright, and now here are the 3x cameras. The image definitely looks completely different. Right, on the Luna Ultra it looks way too like teal and blue and green, whereas on the Pocket 4P it looks warmer and just more pleasing overall. Not really a big fan of this preset, honestly, on the Luna Ultra. Not my cup of tea, definitely. Alright, so honestly I think I am done for today. I showed you all the presets on these cameras. Just wanted to do like a quick comparison so you can see which camera produces better results out of camera without doing any color grading basically in post-production. But you let me know down below which camera you think looks better and which camera has like basically better overall filters and film tone presets. And by the way, I have 54% battery on the Pocket 4P and then 59% 50% on the Luna Ultra, so the battery life is more or less the same. And I think for the next video, I'm going to do a comparison between the Pocket 4P and the Pocket 4 with the D-Log profile, not D-Log 2, just to see if you get any advantages with the Pocket 4P's new low-fick sensor, basically. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.